So in one of the previous actor actions, if you make, for example, a random rotation, just like here, I go to cylinder, I will use script actor actions, and then I will try to use transform and set random rotation. I will use 3 balls, and as we can see, the rotation is here, but if I press Ctrl Z, it cannot change actually. And this is because we haven't noted our unin engine that actually the undo buffer, which is here under history, shows us like recently applied changes, and we can return to each one by pressing this button. As we can see, it says jump to this transaction, so we can move to that. So we have a pre-built library to create that in our field, which is good. So basically we start from the begin transaction. We are starting now, and this is the context. Obviously the context can be this, for example, name, and then when we have this name, we can use a description, and now we can just apply the changes. So the description will be set random rotations for selected actors. I'll make this C lower. I'll use begin transaction. And now we'll press here. And now I will transect the object. Transect object. And this is crucial because we want to make a snapshot of it. So we have to notify the unin engine editor which asset or actor in that example will be transact. So I'll use it, and remember that we need to use this transact before actual operation. Our main operation is actor rotation, because if you make it after, it will not change our changes. So we'll kind of need to cache that change. And if we start our transaction that is here, we need to as well the finish transaction. And the finish transaction should be by the end of the function, but we are using the loop. So we need to add end transaction when it's finished. So end transaction will be here. And now I will compile it. So we added 3 nodes. First begin, before anything happens. Now transact, which is actually current transaction. And even begin transaction have primary object, but as you can see, the primary object that is under session operators can be null, and mostly is, yeah, because obviously in most cases we are not using it. And this is the end transactions. So now, if I use this rotation, I will use scripted actions and set random rotation. I will use it now. Let's see. Oh, we see now there's like a random rotation. And now if I press Ctrl Z, we see it works. Undo blue utility action. And now if we go to undo history, we see our blue utility action. And yeah, this is the case. We can create transactions and return all the actions. We can apply actually this transaction to all of the nodes we have created before, in order if you want to use this possibility of undo some changes, because without it, basically we cannot restore the previous state, which is sometimes very necessary, especially if the values that were here were like completely messed up. And then the other way just to restore this by using source control system.